Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. Sean Johnston here from Omaha, Nebraska, bringing you PSOA rules topic of dead ball officiating. A typical basketball game will take 90 minutes, and there's 32 minutes of playing time. So that's a big discrepancy versus live ball, 32 minutes, and the total amount of the game, 90 minutes. And what takes up the time difference? Dead ball officiating. And the purpose of this training tape is to prevent these type of interactions. All right, so when we are consistent in doing dead ball officiating during pregame, substitutes, timeouts, after scores, after fouls and violations, before and after halftime, and at the end of the game, we are going to be able to prevent 99% of unfortunate situations that does happen in the game of basketball. Let's start with prior to the game, pregame. Subvarsity and varsity contest. The crew should be on the court in their position 15 minutes prior to the game. We're watching players warm up. We're looking for player tendencies. Who's the shooters? Who's the post players? We're looking for violations by shooters, by dribblers, by post players. If you see them, go up to the players and let them know. It's amazing on how many times a player will violate in pregame. How they practice is how they will play. So if we can educate before the game, it can prevent violations during the game to have better flow. Get all uniform and equipment legal. Pre-game with the coaches 13 to 12 minutes prior. Give the coaches time to double check the book. And then check the book by 11. So if you catch an error, we still have time to go to that coach to correct the error. If you're working middle school and youth, we need to be on the court in position 10 minutes prior. Meet the captains and coaches 10 minutes to 5 minutes. And probably most importantly, meet the bookkeeper, meet the clock operator. Go over when to start, when to stop the clock. Go over if they don't have information from you as an official and they have a question, when they should stop the game and ask you the question to give the information. Let's take a look at a little pregame at a random Nebraska high school basketball game. So we see on the game clock 15:05, and officials are on the court in position. So you have the referee standing in the middle of the court. You have umpire 1, they're watching the home team. And then umpire 2 is in charge of the visiting team. Again, you're looking at how the players are warming up. Who's the shooters? How are they catching and passing the ball? What are they doing after they catch the ball? I also call this mental reps. All right? The more reps we see as an official of getting that pivot foot, of not watching the ball on the shot, but watching the players on the rebounds, the more likely we will have good habits during the game. With 12 minutes and 30 seconds, you see the referee going to get the coaches, introducing himself. And what we are going to be going over during this coaches portion of the pregame meeting, are players legally equipped? Is the book correct? Remind them about the coaching box and bench decorum, and then just ask them. If you have questions throughout the game, please ask us. We'll be able to answer it. Now you have umpire 1, umpire 2. Once the referee gets the coaches together, getting the captains together. Again, introducing ourselves, making human contact. When the referee's done with the coaches, they're going to now talk to the captains. Who's the speaking captain? And then they're going to be saying, you guys are the leaders of the team. How you guys behave and role model is how your fellow teammates are going to behave. If you have questions, find us. We're here to work with you, not against you. Every referee has a little slogan at the end. Mine is white to white, orange to orange, anything across. Be positive, play hard, stand your feet. Good luck. This part of the game, making those interactions with coaches, with players, confirming the book, there's nothing worse than starting a game with an administrative technical foul. All preventable if we do our pregame dead ball officiating correctly and we take pride in it. Season goal: no administrative technical fouls prior to the game. Now the game has started. Toss is up, players are playing, and players get tired. The next part of dead ball officiating we're going to cover: substitutes. All right. So nearest official, when the ball is dead, any team could substitute. And you're going to have the clock operator use the horn to make us as the officials aware we have substitutes who have checked in. The horn does not allow the subs to enter. It is the nearest official who will beckon in the subs. After we beckon in the subs, we want to count. Right here we got 5 blue players. 5 on, 5 off. Non-inbounding officials. Count 5 offense, 5 defense. Give a close fist to the inbounding official. Inbounding official. Once you get the signal from your partner or partners, you count 5 by 5. And one last time, check the benches to make sure there's not one last late sub. If we are accommodating to coaches when it comes to substitutes and they're truly making matchups and it just takes them a couple seconds to see that matchup, it's going to go a far way with dead ball officiating with coaches in the future. If you take pride in this and you do this process every single time and you prevent starting the game with 11 players or 9 players, you will keep the crew credibility. It's amazing when officials allow a game to play with 11 or 9. Yes, by rule, it is the coach's duty to make sure they are legal. But we as officials have 100% control of making sure both teams play 5 on 5. Take pride in that. Keep crew credibility. Next dead ball situation are timeouts. When a player on the court or an offensive head coach or either head coach during a dead ball ask for a timeout, the official who sees it, who hears it, who is near it, blow your whistle, voice and point to the bench who you granted the timeout to, all while facing the players. The players will be crossing each other quite a bit. When we blow the whistle, players might still continue to play. We need to dead ball officiate. Do not turn away from the players just because a coach asked for a timeout. Continue watching the players all the way to the bench. Once the players are in their bench area, you are then going to report 30-second or full timeout to the table. You don't have to be in a hurry to get that from the coach 30 or 60. Most of the time, the coaches are going to tell you based on what they tell the players to do. If the players are standing like this picture, we have a 30-second timeout. If the coach tells the players to sit down, we have a full timeout. Now, the rear situations where some are standing, some are sitting, yes, players in the bench area ask the coach full or 30, and then they'll give you the information and go report it. The main thing with dead ball officiating timeouts, do not turn away from the players to get that information from the coach. The timeout's not going to start anyways until all players are at the bench area. And then we report it and start it. So now there's a position we stand in, 2-person. The non-inbounding official, you're on the center circle near the table for 30 seconds. You're on the back side of the circle for 60 seconds. You are watching for substitutes. All right, you are going to confirm, yes, that substitute checked in prior to that 15-second warning horn. Again, this is dead ball officiating that can make a huge difference. Assistant coaches are watching the opposing team make subs, so if there's a reaction they have to do, they could react to that substitute. So if they are not at that table prior to that 15-second warning, we cannot allow that substitute in. Dead ball officiate. Once the warning horn sounds, we don't have to officiate subs anymore. They cannot sub. Officials need to work to get the team out of their timeouts. By rule, they have to be on the playing court ready to play at the second horn. We're going to work with them early in the season. We're going to work with them early in the game. Later in the game, if we don't work with them early and now they are using up more than that 30 and 60-second timeout, it's usually because we have not done our job early in the game. Now we have an issue. This team is taking extra time while the other team is on the playing court. We have an advantage being gained. So clean up timeouts early in the game. Have that expectation of coach on that second horn. We need your players on the court ready to play. You're not going to have unsporting advantage situations at the end of the game. The next situation the ball becomes dead is when a field goal is made. The old offense cannot interfere with the ball after a made basket. We're not looking for the simple touch or the old offense is underneath the basket and the ball just lands in their hands and they just let it go, or they give it to the opponent, or they toss it to the nearest official quickly. They didn't seek the ball found them. That is not interfering. We are looking for an advantage being gained. So we have the new offense. They're about to get the ball out of the basket, but then the old offense tips it away. The old offense goes and finds the basketball, grabs the basketball, then throws it to the official. Prevents a fast break, allows the defense not to set up a press. Boom, stop the game. Now we have a delay game warning. If you're going to have a delay game warning after the ball is made, all right, we have to make sure it affects the game and one team gains an advantage. If in a different situation in the game, it could gain an advantage, but it did not happen there, talk to the player, talk to the head coach. Hey, coach, remind your players after a made basket, avoid touching the ball. Again, that's going to prevent some really bad stuff at the end of the game if we take care of it early. The other rule that we have to be aware of, time and game awareness. Since the ball becomes dead until the new offense has clear possession of the ball out of bounds, either team can call a timeout. The head coaches can call a timeout because the ball is dead. It's not in team possession. It's not in team possession until the new offense has it and they're clearly out of bounds. So have that time and game awareness. Ball goes in, dead ball officiate, looking and listening for a timeout if a team needs that clock to be stopped, if time is of the essence, or they want to set up a press, or maybe they're just tired. And we're aware that players are getting tired. So time and game awareness, dead ball officiating after scores. Fouls and violations. The ball becomes dead when officials whistle sounds. Exception, shot up temp. Yes, that ball will remain live. And if that ball goes through the basket, we have a goal. But majority of the whistles, boom, ball is dead. Dead ball officiate has to happen right now. Call an official, slow down, process. Why did you blow the whistle? Give the preliminary signal and voice at that spot. Give the resumption of play. Then move as needed. Foul, report to the reporting area. If it's a violation, it might be a bump and run. You might stay at that spot. Non-calling officials, when you hear your partner or partners blow their whistle, hold your position, watch the players on the court. Prevent retaliation at moments. I walk a little bit towards the action, whether it's a foul or violation, because I never know how players are going to react. Help your partner. Get the person who you feel got fouled. Help your partner who did commit the foul. We've all been in this situation where we forgot a number. If we dead ball officiate, stay engaged, we could be there for our partner. And then have an opinion on the resumption of play spot. Foul in the front court, 4 designated spots. Violation, spot nearest the violation. All right. Just in this past week, we had backcourt violation, and partners are putting the ball at the division line. No, a backcourt violation is now in the new offense's front court. We're going to put it in one of the 4 designated spots. Stay engaged, stay active, be ready to help your partners after the whistle is blown on fouls and violations. Halftime. All officials go to the middle of the court. Allow the players and coaches to get to the locker room, get off the playing court. Coaches are going to confirm fouls and scores. Referees, do not go to that table when coaches are there. You're putting yourself in a bad situation. Once everyone's gone away from the table, the referee will go, switch the possession arrow, confirm the score is correct, clear the fouls, and then go to the locker room. All officials leave the court together. All right, small things, but again, we are doing all these small things for the 1% time. The 1% the coach is upset. The 1% players are mingling around the table. Don't put yourself in that situation ever, and you'll never have that unsporting situation 1% of the time. The last dead ball officiating, end of the game. Referee, near the end of the game, communicate with the scorekeeper that the score is correct, that fouls are correct. Communicate with the timer. When you see the arm drop, start the clock. All right, this is dead ball officiating near the end of the game. Officials' jurisdiction ends, and the final score is approved when all officials leave the visual confines of the playing area. So when in doubt, if there's some confusion, whether it's table, coaches, players, or fellow officials, remain on the court, clear the confusion, give the information, then leave the court together. Because once you leave the visual confines of the court, at that moment, at that time, that score is final and that game is over. Let's take a look at some more of that previous game and watch and observe dead ball officiating and how important it is to prevent that 1% unsporting behavior. So we're 3.5 minutes into the game, first sub. All right, so now we know we will have a substitute the next dead ball. All right, so now we have a foul, and we have a foul with both officials blowing the whistle. All right, dead ball officiating begins. First, we have to make eye contact. Who's going to take it to the table? Whoever takes it to the table, the other official, getting the person that was fouled, number 5, getting the number of the fouler, number 14, dead ball officiate. Other non-calling official, you are now also going to have an opinion. What side of the court is it going to be on? Is it going to be on the table side, or is it going to be opposite table side? It's a foul, so we should be at the 28-foot line. All right, so dead ball officiating here of who got fouled, who is the fouler, and making eye contact. Substitutes. Subs did a great job here of staying down so the scorekeeper can see the presentation of the foul. Officials, if they stand up and get in the way and you can't make eye contact with that scorekeeper, ask them to kneel back down. It is very important to report first, sub second. With both teams subbing here, we are now going to be even slower, 5-5. Allow teams a couple extra seconds to match up defensively. When both teams sub, we have to allow them who has who. Give them time to communicate. And when they seem all organized, all right, 5-by-5, give a close fist. Thrower, make sure you look at that bench just one last time. With one team subbing 3, the other one only subbing 1, they might have a late sub to get that matchup. Dead ball officiating can prevent the 1% unsporting situation. Take pride in that. All right, so we had a traveling violation there. Dead ball officiating, signal, voice, resumption of play, looking at the bench, making sure there's no subs coming in. Once that basket goes in, ball is dead at this moment. Any coach, any player on the court can call a timeout. We have dead ball officiating, partners saying 2. It is now okay. This official hold up 2 points to the scorekeeper. The scorekeeper might be able to see this official better. So it's okay to mirror 2 points. The ball is still dead. The ball becomes live when that player gains possession of it and is clearly out of bounds. Dead ball officiating, Now it's live. Dead ball officiating, out of bounds. Now this is where we could have an opinion. Where did that ball touch out of bounds? If it touched out of bounds on this half of the lane line, we're going to be end line, opposite table. If it touched on this half of the lane line, we're going to be end line, opposite table. This official is dead ball officiating, and he's looking at where is his partner going to inbound the ball, because that's going to change his next position. So again, when we have a whistle blown, there is so much dead ball officiating that goes on for partners, for players, for coaches. We're going to take a look at the last minute and 15 seconds of the half here. And again, point out the dead ball officiating moments. We're going to have a play at the basket. Partner calls a foul, and it goes in. There are times where your partner is so focused on the players who are involved in the foul, they do not know if that ball goes in or not. Off-ball officials, make sure you dead ball officiate and help your partner. Let them know, did that ball go in or not, if they need that. This official got the count the goal, so we're good there. But every time, know that ball status as officials. Good job of holding the ground, watching players. Good job holding the ground, watching players. Processing who got fouled, who's going to be our shooter, who was the fouler in case the partner forgets. Simple thing, we're looking back. Do not leave your spot until you know what number you have and you're going to go report the foul. Off-ball officials, if I see you looking back, I'm going to provide the number, in my opinion, of who the foul was on. So dead ball officiating, line up the players. Black, white, black. Substitutes, good job. Letting the partners know, got a sub. When we got 10-10, close fist. Confirming one shot on the release. Dead ball officiating, communication to the players so everybody knows what's going on. Do not assume players know what's going on. Dead ball officiate communication to know what that the players know what is going to happen. So another thing, we're going to be doing dead ball officiating here. So we have a partner also pointing resumption of play. We have a team with 4 fouls. All right, so we want to communicate if that team fouls again, we're in 2-shot bonus. Dead ball officiating, game awareness, so it doesn't sneak up on us. So communicate that kind of information. Dead ball officiating. You're saying opposite center trail, you have last second shot. We're underneath a minute. All officials have clock responsibilities. All right, so that center official point to his chest, my shot. All right, so now it's going to be the trail officials, last second shot still. All officials responsible for the clock. Ball is dead. Anybody could have called a timeout there. So 26-26 ball game. If this was at the end of the fourth quarter, we would have important timing dead ball officiating. So if a team scores right now, 6.9 seconds left. So if I hear timeout, 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 I am putting the amount of game clock that I know was on the scoreboard at the time that ball went through the basket. 6.9 seconds left. Not when I blew the whistle, not when my partner blew the whistle. As long as that coach and player is saying timeout right away, this is the time, dead ball officiating, I'm putting on the clock. All right, we are not done officiating. Dead ball officiate. Watch these players leave the court. Do not turn your back to these players. Look at all these opponents. And then coaches are coming to the table. Officiate this. Walk towards this, towards the middle of the court, just in case. If there's unsporting behavior that happens, our presence will prevent the escalation. All right, so now the coaches and players have all left the table. This is a good job. Referee's going. He's going to switch the position arrow, confirm the score, ask the clock operator to clear the fouls, and then all 3 officials will leave the court together. So well done by this crew of dead ball officiating. I hope you take a look at this video not once, but watch it again and understand the importance of dead ball officiating. And when we take pride in it and always do it, it will prevent the 1% unsporting behavior situations. Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. Until next training tape, officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.